Yes, well, just completed a very, very physical game against Cincinnati, and we're a little beat up right now. Looking forward to starting SEC play. South Carolina played an extremely good game, especially in special teams. Scored basically 3 touchdowns on special teams, and they have a veteran team, a lot of seniors, well coached, and they are hot right now and have been for the last half of last year, and then certainly started this year. So we're excited to get started. We have a really good team coming in here, and we've had a good week of preparation.
First up, we have Tom Murphy, the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette.
Hey, good morning, Sam. There was a day in camp where Jordan Dominic, I remember you were unhappy with maybe effort or something, and what happened from that point to him making a big impact on last Saturday?
Tom, I'm going to show it to the team, and we showed that play, a few plays of effort on tape. He certainly was in one of those. I don't think he'd mind sharing it with you. He was in one of those, and the effort was not good. And from that day on, he started playing hard, and he always worked hard in the weight room when he was here, but he just didn't understand how we practice, and he does now, and I thought he just started improving because he's always been athletic. But I'll give him all that credit because he understood what he would have to do here to get on the field.
Okay. And then when you look at the South Carolina defense, there's some 5 stars, 4 stars over there. They look like they run well. What do you think about them as a whole and how they match up with you?
I like them. I dislike playing them. But I like them. I love their linebacker core. I think they're really good there. Cam Smith's an excellent player. Brad Johnson, been a good player for them for a while. And then they're big. Their front is very, very good, very big, and certainly they do a lot with Cam Smith corner or nickel or whatever. And then certainly have a fast secondary that can cover. Have a transfer in there as well, but they'll hit you. They run to the ball, well coached, very, very physical defense they have.
Okay, thanks.
Next is Steve Moulton at WZZN.
Coach, hope you're doing well this morning.
Thank you.
Couldn't help but notice you were active on social media this morning. So how important is that home field advantage this Saturday for you, Coach?
I think if you ask any, I don't want to speak for the other coaches, but if you ask anybody, I think home field advantage is big anywhere in the SEC. And we had about close to 75,000, I think, last Saturday, and we have a large crowd expected this Saturday, and they helped us. Cincinnati got the ball on the 3-yard line and had a little bit of problem. Ended up having to kick. Our defense held them as well, but ended up having to kick a field goal, and I give most of that credit to our crowd. And so just wanted to encourage them that there's not an excuse not to come to the game and not be loud because it's an 11 a.m. game, and I think our crowd is excited to help us again this week. But I would just encourage them to get out there and be loud.
And, Coach, after Game 1, how would you assess your running offense? That also includes KJ and his decision to tuck and run. Did he do that at the right time?
He did. I thought he played well, especially in the running game. I don't think we played overly. I don't think we were at our standard up front. I don't think we're at our standard as a team, to be honest with you, last week. But Cincinnati has something to do with that. But we have good weapons everywhere, tight end, at running back, at wide out. I do think the wide out's blocked well. But we've got to get better. KJ made good decisions in the run game. He'll get better as the year goes on as well. But This week right here, we've really focused a lot on us because we have a lot of areas to improve on, and the kids understood that after the game. And not normally you don't beat a top 25 team here at Arkansas and go into a locker that's not really celebrating and those things of that nature. And our kids weren't. I thought there was a problem with that. I addressed it with them. Hey, we beat anybody. Doesn't matter, but yet alone a top 25 team, you got to celebrate with it. But shows a little bit about where the program is today versus where it was before. And we've had a really good week of work, but we needed to.
Thank you, Coach.
Next is Mike Griffith of AJC Dog Nation.
Hey, Coach, congratulations on the win. Obviously, being across the field from Shane, a lot of people in Georgia are going to be watching that. You got any anecdotes, stories about the season you spent with Shane there? You guys working the line and the tight end on that SEC championship team in 2017?
Nah, I mean, he's just a really good person and a fiery guy, a good recruiter. When he got the job over there, I was very happy for him. In no way did I feel like what we had done at Arkansas helped him get that job, but I do think that it was easier for schools to start hiring, for universities to start hiring guys with non-coordinator titles as far as offensive. He had a special teams title, obviously. But I was really happy for him and his family. It's exactly where he wanted to be. He's a fit for South Carolina. Obviously, loves the place, and I was just really, really excited for him. But we'd cut up and laugh and things of that nature in the office, and working together. He was easy to work with. Very good coach, and I just really enjoyed it. I was sad to see when he left, but I understand that he's got to do what's best for his family.
If there are any other questions for Coach, please press 1-0. This is a follow-up from Tom Murphy.
So we saw Kari getting a little run at safety. What have you thought of him and Brini? And you feel like you're going to have to rely on them for a while?
I don't know. I mean, they're out there practicing just like they had before. We did move Kyrie because, we're beat up there, but we'll see what happens. I really don't know right now, but we recruited well, and regardless of what it might be or might not be, we'll be fine back there.
Next is AP Stedham of WHEP.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, do you watch film of Spencer Rattler when he was at Oklahoma as well as Carolina? And what's your assessment of his play so far?
Well, I think he's still a really good player. He's dangerous with all the throws, all the different type throws. Those are really, really great long ball. We have to keep him inside the pocket. When he gets outside the pocket, he's as accurate of a quarterback as I've seen in a long, long time. I mean, he'll hurt you, and he can hurt you with his legs as well. But he's played a lot of ball, and certainly I can see why Coach Beamer went to get him. I mean, he's an excellent player, and got a strong arm and can run. So. Same thing I saw there at Oklahoma on this tape was the same thing that we're seeing here after one game at South Carolina.
Thank you, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
We also have a follow-up from Steve Molson.
Coach, yes, I do. You've mentioned a couple of times how physical the game was on Saturday. So how much does that alter what you do this week coming off of a game that physical on Saturday, Coach?
None. It didn't alter us at all. We have to practice like we practice, and we have to get guys ready. And so I think between week 1 and week 2, I think there's a lot of emphasis on your own team and what you can get better at and what each player can get better at. And without going full speed and doing it with pads and those things, to me, you can't get the ultimate value of what you just learned the previous Saturday. So we didn't change anything. Guys that are coming in there playing, for some guys that are a little banged up, they need those reps as well. So it didn't change a whole lot. Just we stayed with our Monday through to this point, Monday through Wednesday practice plan.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Coach, thanks for your time today.
Thank you.
Good win last Saturday to get started. It's good to be 1-0. Obviously have a lot of work to do, a lot to improve on, but so many good things to build on from last week. Certainly jumping into SEC play immediately, which we're excited about. I know it'll be a fantastic environment out in Fayetteville on Saturday morning, and we've got a really good team that we're playing. Sam's done an awesome job with his squad, and I had a great 2 years working with him at Georgia, Kirby's first 2 years, and somebody that I think a lot of. And certainly when you watch his team play, it reflects Sam. And they play really, really hard. They're really, really physical and got a big challenge, but our guys are excited to get out there and looking forward to playing.
We'll begin with Bob Holt of the Arkansas Democrat Gazette.
Hey, Shane, how you doing?
Doing well. Hope you are.
I'm good. Hey, I know you were at OU a season with Jaden Hazelwood, who's here at Arkansas. And I wonder what you remember about him when you were at OU and maybe what you saw on the tape last week, what he was able to do against Cincinnati, and just how big a challenge he is for your defense.
Yeah, watching the tape, it reminded me of the Jaden Hazelwood that I know. I mean, I was at Georgia in 2017 when we were trying to recruit Jaden because he's from right there in Atlanta. And then obviously I was at Oklahoma with Jaden as well and think a lot of him. He's just, when I say he's got that dog mentality in him, that is a compliment. Like, he is a competitor, and you see it on tape. The catch he made for the touchdown the other day, he just out-competed the guys from Cincinnati. He's very physical, blocking on the perimeter, and will be a big challenge. Both those, all those receivers, Jaden, and then I was at Georgia with Matt Landers, and to see him come along and to see the player that he's become, I'm excited for Matt as well. But those two guys are weapons for them because of their length and then just the competitive spirit that they play with also.
Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Next is David Cloninger, the Post-Encourager.
Hey, Shane, I was just wondering if there was an update on R.J. Roderick.
No.
Next we'll go to Mike Griffith of AJC Dog Nation.
Hey, Shane, you mentioned early on there about watching this team play and how it reflects Sam. A couple things there. One, if you could elaborate on that. And two, do you think it helped you out a bit that Sam had so much success despite maybe not coming from a traditional coordinator background in terms of getting hired at Carolina?
Yeah, in regards to reflecting Sam, I think a couple things. One, big physical offensive line. When you watch some of the plays from the Cincinnati game, if you're watching it from like the end zone copy that we as coaches do, there's times on offense where if you just pause the video, you literally can't see anyone on the front seven from Cincinnati because they've got, two double teams that are covering up the two defensive tackles or two defensive linemen. And then their 6'9" offensive tackle has completely covered up the guy on the edge, or the offensive guard is up on the linebacker. So just big and physical that they want to maul you. That's, to me, is a reflection of Sam and his offensive lines over the years. And then they just play really, really hard. You can tell they believe in what they're doing, and the effort that they play with shows it on defense and offense and special teams. And then I'm sure it didn't hurt Mike. Sam's hire was somewhat, unconventional, if you will. but he was a guy that loved Arkansas. I know from our time together in Athens how highly he spoke of his time there in Fayetteville. And, you know, I'm a guy that loved and loves South Carolina. I was outspoken about that. And, you know, I think it's a good, not that I've done anything as a head coach, but Sam's obviously done some really good things. And I think it's a good eye opener for a lot of people that, you know, just because you can call plays or be an offensive coordinator doesn't mean you're going to be a great head coach. I mean, there's so much more that goes into being a head coach than just being able to call a defense and call an offense. And the roles that I had, and I would say the roles that Sam had in his coaching career, certainly prepared us for those for the chair that we're in right now. Sam's success certainly, you know, didn't hurt me. I can't even remember what Sam's record was the first year, but I think they had a little bit of success the year that I got hired. And then, you know, we obviously got to keep it going as well, but it's just two guys that really love the places that they're coaching at and believe in the places they're coaching at.
Next is Mike Griffith of AJC Dog Nation. Mike, are you there?
Mr. Griffiths, please press 10 again if you'd like to ask your question. I think you were taken out of queue.
All right, we'll go to Colin Taylor of Gamecock Central.
Yeah, Shane, I guess Jaheim ran 7 times, and most of the targets were kind of at or around the line of scrimmage. Is that kind of how y'all envision using him this year, or is that going to be kind of a game-to-game basis on what his role might look like?
I think it's game-to-game, Colin. I mean, Jaheim's a guy that can do a lot of things, and, you know, said last week, Coach Satterfield, our offensive coordinator, that Jaheim may carry the ball 15 times or whatever, and people, you know, thought we were nuts. Well, some weeks he may. I mean, I think it's each week. We got quality running backs. I'm not saying that, but Jaheim is a guy that he's hard to bring down in the open field, and he has shown that. One person rarely does, so the more we can get the ball in his hands, the better. But I think every week is we look at the defense we're playing and we try and figure out the best way to attack them. And we've got lots of playmakers at the tight end position, at the wide receiver position, at the running back position, and a lot of guys that we feel comfortable with the ball in their hands. But as far as Jaheim goes, it's a nice asset in that he can carry the ball. He can, you know, put his hand in the ground and be a conventional tight end. He can go out wide and be a receiver, which he's shown. So I think every week is different.
Next, we have Tom Murphy, the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette.
Hey, Shane, heard you yesterday talking about some of the older games between these two programs. And, you know, I guess there's always going to be that link joining in 92. Do you see parallels between, you know, where you want to go with your program and Arkansas here over on the other side, like, you know, your aims and trying to go up in your divisions?
Yeah, certainly. You know, they're in the SEC West with teams that have won national championships in recent years. We're in the SEC East with teams that, you know, just won the national championship and whatnot. So in this league, it's everybody's good. It's a battle week in, week out, but certainly it's two proud programs that we as head coaches, Sam and I both, really believe in and believe in the potential, you know, of these programs as well. And you've got to do a great job of recruiting. You've got to do a great job of developing your players that, you know, that you recruit. And we try and do that. Sam, I know, is doing that. And then you got to play, you know, really, really hard. You got to play with great effort and physicality. And I think Sam and I, you know, believe in the same things when it comes to how our football team should look. And we believe in the same things in regards to, you know, how to, what we want our program to be about as well.
I want to ask you if you had any thoughts about their defensive front sevens, front six up against your O-line, and specifically, Jordan Dominic didn't get a ton of run, but he made a really big play on the strip sack. If you could talk about those.
Yeah, no, they're disruptive. Coach Odom does a great job coaching those guys. That's just, you know, active. You don't quite know what they're going to be in. Are they going to be in a, you know, 3 down? Are they going to be in 4 down? they mix it up, and kind of game to game, you don't quite know what you're going to get. So that makes it a challenge to prepare for to begin with. And then just their personnel. I mean, you see guys they're really good up front, and then they've added 2 transfers, I guess, up front that made, significant plays on Saturday. And Bumper Poole is an unbelievable player. He's all over the field. Drew Sanders is a guy I can remember when he was a freshman in high school. We had him in our summer football camp at Georgia and offered him a scholarship at a young age. And then we tried to recruit him like crazy at Oklahoma and weren't able to get him. And it's good to see him having success. I hated this against the team we're playing this week, but he's just so active up front. Drew is. So that's the issue with them, is that they're multiple, and then they're just really, really active and very rarely staying in the same place.
Yeah, and then the Dominic play. I mean, that looked like it was a real, pivotal play in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Not a huge play, and they've got a pass rush that we've got to be, aware of, and make sure we have a good plan for.
Thank you.
Next is Alan Cole of Gamecocks coach.
Mr. Cole took himself out of queue.
Okay, we'll go to AP Stedham.
Hey, good morning, Coach.
Good morning, or afternoon here.
Afternoon, that's right. I'm sorry. Coach, I wanted to ask you about KJ Jefferson as a passer. Have you seen some improvement? And then also Hazelwood was the transfer from Oklahoma, wide receiver. What challenges does he present?
Yeah, mentioned Jaden Hazelwood at the beginning of the call. He and I were together at Oklahoma, so I know what he's about. He's just such a competitor, and, when that ball's in the air, he believes that he's the only guy that should come down with it. And, he competes in his run blocking, the passing game, and both those receivers, he and Matt Landers both. I was with Matt at Georgia, and they've got size and length. And then as far as the quarterback, I think he's certainly dynamic, got size, and he made some throws on Saturday against Cincinnati. And the thing that's just impressive about him is he's able to, because of his size, people have a hard time getting him down. People bounce off of him in the pocket when they try and sack him, and then he's able to get himself out of trouble, but then keep his eyes downfield and throw the ball downfield. He's not always just looking to run. And our defensive backs got to do a great job of, staying in coverage and understanding that until the play's over, you got to play the pass and the run. And I do think he's improved, and he's a major weapon for them. There's no doubt about it.
Thank you.
That's all for today, Coach. Thank you.
Thank you.